to Benny Stitches Fashion Academy. Once again, I'm Ene Agbo, the creative director of Benny Stitches Fashion School or Fashion Academy. Today we're going to be drafting the bodice block, okay? And the measurements we're going to be working with are shoulder width 14, round neck 16, no, round neck 14, shoulder width 16, bust point 8, waist point 13, round hip 44, round bust 40, round waist 32. Okay, now I have a brown paper. Okay, now the first question you want to ask is, how much of this paper do I need to draft a bodice block? The first thing you need to do is to get a rectangular frame, and this frame is made up of the widest part of the body divided by 2 plus 4. I want to say that again. We need a rectangular frame. The box where we have barricades, you can't exceed the border lines. We need a rectangle which is made up of the widest part of the body divided by 2 plus 4 inches in the horizontal. Now the vertical is your desired top length plus 1 inch hemming allowance. Now to this, my round hip is 44. 44 divided by 2 is 22. 22 plus 4 is 46. So I have 46 here. Okay. Now the length of my paper here is my desired top length, which turned out to be 20. And I have 1 inch to that, which is 21. Okay. Now the first thing we want to do is to label one side front, the other side back. We're going to be doing front and back simultaneously. As you do this, you go ahead and do this. Now the first thing we're asked to do is to come to the back and take out 1 inch. I like to use number 2, please. It's still the same, we're using number 1 here. All I've taken is just 1 inch. Okay, maybe I should go ahead with number 1. I have 1 inch all the way down. Let me just insert this in well. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and I'll just roll that down, connecting it with a straight line. Let me use the marker so it's more visible. This is my zipper allowance. Okay. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to go back to my measurement and check round neckline, which is the round neck. Here, the round neck is 14 inches. I would like to divide 14 by 6. Round neck width divided by 6. Please take note, I told you earlier that pattern drafting is a combination of mathematical skills and details. It is a process that allows you to take measurements from a given figure and you follow a set of rules to calculate those measurements obtained in order to cut out shapes of garment parts on paper. The first measurement I took is the round neck, and I'm asked to divide that by 6. My round neck is 14, divided by 6 is 2.3. Okay, I'm going to be coming in from center front 2.3, center back 2.3. They share the same width. So the first thing I want to do here is take my 2.3 inches. I'll come here as well, 2.3. Now, I'm told, now, like I said earlier, that we follow a set of rules. 2.3 plus 0.5 is the drop of my front neck. This is my 2.3. All I need to do is add 0.5 to it to get the drop. Now, I just want to come in here to be able to square it properly. This is my 2.3, and I'm adding a 0.5 to it. No, this is my 2.3, okay? But down here, this is the 2.3 now plus 0.5. I like to square that up with a marker so it can show very well. okay? But the same rule says my 2.3 will be divided by 2 for me to know what to take as the depth of the back neckline. Okay, I either fold my tape into 2, or I say 2.3 divided by 2. I have 1.15 there. Okay, let me see, 2.3 divided by 2. So that will be the drop of the back neck width. Just square that up. Now, all we need to do is come out diagonally and out diagonally here as well. We're going to be using that later. The next measurement we're taking is the shoulder width, and the same rule says shoulder width divided by 2. My shoulder width here is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So that's the 8 inches here. And from the center back as well, that's the 8. Please take note of where I'm taking these measurements from. I'm taking it from the midpoint of the back and the midpoint of the front, not after the neck width, please. I took my 8 from the center back and from the center front. So look at this. I have 8 inches here and 8 inches here. Now, I'm going to be dropping the back neck with 1.5, and I'll be dropping the front with 1 inch. Any measurements, please. Okay? This applies to all measurements, except in the case where you're making clothes for one whose bust is lower than 20. Then you come down 1 inch in front, 0.5 at the back. Okay, now I'll just draw a slanty line connecting this 1.5 to the nape points, and I'll do the same to the back, connecting this 1.5 to the nape points. The next thing I'm asked to do is to divide round busts by 6. And my round bust here is 40. 40 divided by 6 is 6.666, approximately 6.75. So I'll come down from after the slope. Remember, I came down here 1.5, and I came down here 1 inch. Okay, now my round bust is 6.75. That's my 6.75. Now, because I came down here 1.5, if I take a 6.75 here, it will give me a slanting line. Okay, what I want to do to get an even line here, a straight line, I'm going to be taking from the top line, which is the roof here. What I have here is 8.25. No. Yeah, what I have here is 6.75. Okay. Hold on, please. This is 6.75 plus 1.5. I have 8.25. I'll be bringing that here. 8.25 from the top line, please. That's the 8.25. What I like to do is connect, making the front and the back armhole meet. Now, just to make sure I have an equal width with the shoulder blade here, I'm going to come down here and measure my 8 as the shoulder width. I'll do the same to this guy. Shoulder width is 8 inches. And all I'm going to do is connect a straight line. This is the simplest way to achieve your basic bodice block. Okay? Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take all vertical measurements, which will be taken from the nape points, the highest part of the shoulder. I like to draw out the armhole line. This line is called the armhole line. Okay. Now, taking all vertical measurements, my bust point My bust point is 10. No, yeah. My bust point is 10. My waist point in front is 15.5. My desired top length is 20 plus 1. I'm not demarcating that. I took 21 immediately, which means the desired top length plus 1 inch. Now I don't have a bust at the back, so I don't need to take a bust point at the back. I'll just go ahead and take my back waist. And my back waist here is 14 inches. And my desired top length, now this is where it comes in. Remember, my desired top length is 20 plus 1, 21. But because my front waist is different from my back waist, all I need to do is to go to the to the front waist, measure what I have to get the length of my top, which is 5.5, and take that measurement here, 5.5. I don't know if you get me. My front waist here is 15.5. My back waist here is 14. So there's a difference of 1.5. To know how long, so that these two tops can meet, all I need to do is to go to the waist point and take from the waist to the desired top length, whatever that figure is, return it from the back waist now and give yourself a desired top length, which gives you the difference at the base of your pattern. Now I just want to take that again so I'll be able to square appropriately. I have my bust line, my 15.5 for the waist, and desired top length, which is 21. Now at the back, I have the waist point, which is 14, and I have 5.5 from that point. That gives me the desired top length. All I like to do now is just to square it all out. Remember, I don't have a bust at the back. Try to position my hand very well. I have a different waistline in front. I want to square out the back as well. This is my desired top length now in front, and that's the desired top length, at the back, and this is it in front. Sorry. Now we can just label our lines. This is the armhole, this is the bust, this is the front waist, back waist, top length. Okay, now I want to have a nipple to nipple measurement, which is the distance from one nipple to the other. Okay, the nipple to nipple measurement here, or the bust pan, is 3.5 for my figure. I have 3.5. This is taken all the way, 3.5. Then at the back, I take it here at the waistline at the back, 3.5. Armhole line at the back, 3.5. Desired top length as well, 3.5. I like to connect that. Do the same. Okay, now my round bust here is 40 divided by 4 gives me 10 on the bust line. My round bust is taken on the armhole line here, divided by 4. Okay, my round waist is 32. Okay, divided by 4, 7.5 is 30. Every 0.25 becomes 1. 31, 32, 31, 32, which is 8. And the same thing at the back. I take my 8 from the center back, please. My round hip is 44, which gives me 11. Round hip is 11, 44. Okay, I like to connect that. So I just need to connect the waist, and then I come down here and bring this to the hip. I'll do the same here. Okay, Now, I just want to roll out this so it's even here. Yeah. And we all know I don't need to use this anymore. This difference will be taken out as that on my bust line. Okay, that's where you see, that's the origin of your side bust. Once we're not using the shoulder, some other time I'm going to be making a video on how to take out your darts on the shoulder, which means you know how to calculate when you're not using the side bust darts. You know how much you're taking at the shoulder area to be able to tighten the neckline. Now, we're going to be coming down here 1 inch to start our dart from the bust line. We're coming down here 1 inch at the armhole line. The difference between my waist in front and the waist at the back is 1.5. That measurement is taken on the bust line. Remember, I don't have a bust at the back. Okay? Now, I want to tighten the waistline with 0.5, 0.5. I'll do the same to the waist at the back. I just want to suppress the waist measurements. Okay? Now, we're going to be going in here 2 centimeters for zip shaping. You get it? Now, my dart in front stops 2 inches above. At the back as well, 2 inches. It starts 1 inch, remember? 1 inch above below the bust line, 2 inches, and 2 inches it would stop. Please follow the arrow. Now look at this. This 2 centimeters is to eliminate any bulging when I bring in my zip. Please take note of the way I finish this dart. Okay? To draw the wedge shape, connecting each one of them. Okay? Now, I suppressed my waist here with 1 inch, which I will return. That's my 1 inch. I'll return this as well, 1 inch. I won't be returning this. Everybody has that dent at the back to allow the zip to lay properly. Now, if I'm to connect my measurements, I'm going to have to connect from this part. I like using a straight line to see myself even up at the right places. Okay? The same thing here. Now, to this I can start adding my seam allowance. Remember, when we're drafting, we got our rectangular frame, which is made up of the widest part of the body divided by 2 plus 4. We took out 1 inch for zip shaping. Now with this, I can now reshape my zip. That's my 1 inch. The same way I finish this dart, I can now connect. Okay? So that's my zip. This is going away. And it is never returned. I didn't return it, please take notes. I took my waist and my darts here and I returned 1 inch. I did here and I returned, but I never returned these 2 centimeters. It's taken out of all measurements. Now I can go ahead, look at, I have space. I like it when I teach my students and I allow them add seam allowance to their pattern already. Some persons will bring it out and they will forget when they are cutting their materials. Now I just want to have 1.5 seam allowance. That's good enough. If it's too much, it will be too bulky in there. Now 1.5 seam allowance. The same thing with the, now I can connect. So I have this guy going up here and coming down here, going up here as well and coming down. Now I like to continue this line and indicate I'm not using this. Okay, now we're not done with the armhole. What we want to do at the armhole area is to come out here diagonally again, the same way I did at the neckline. I like to come out here and the same thing with this part. Now, to achieve our across chest or across chest here or chest line, I need to go back to my round waist measurements. If my round bust measurements, if your round bust is 39 and below, you're going up here 3 inches. But if round bust is 40 and above, you're going up here 2.5 to achieve your chest line. Now my round bust is 40. That means I'm going up here 2.5 to get a chest line. That's my 2.5 inches. So this becomes my chest line. Now to get my across back, all I need to do is to measure from this shoulder slope to the seat, which is 7.25. Half of it is what I will now use as my across back. I like to fold my tape here, and that gives me 3.125 here. So at this point, I like to connect with my French curve, but no, let's do this first, please. I like to go in here 0.5. Then I connect with the straight line, a slanting line to the shoulder blade. Okay, but with my French curve, I'm going to be sitting down to my round bust measurements. You can see, but to this one, I don't go in at all. Just connect this curve to your round bust and you're done. The basic bodice is one of the easiest things to do. Now I like it when I come out here 1 inch and come out here 0.5 and I connect. Okay, this French curve just gives me all I need. So easy to use. So that's it. Now this becomes my across back. Please let me square this up and just label it. Across back, across chest line, across back, bust line, armhole line, the waist at the back, waist in front. Now this we're going to be sewing out. No, hold on. This 1.5 we have here, which is the difference between the back waist and the front waist, is going to be connected to the bust points. Please watch where I connect. I didn't connect to 1 inch below. I connected it to the bust points. Okay? Now, there's something called a TM cut. Okay? You can choose to have a blouse or a top that has this lovely line below it, or you just want to have it there, straight line. So I like this one. And to achieve this, come to the length, go in from your main measurement, not the seam allowance, please. From the main measurement, go in 3 inches. Still sitting on the main measurement, go up 1.5. The same thing at the back, please. 3 inches, still sitting on the waist measurements, go up 1.5 and connect, okay, with a straight line into the seam allowance. Please take note of what I've done here. I connected from my 3 inches, okay, to the 1.5 and out into my seam allowance. I'm going to be doing the same to this guy. And we're done. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your time. I hope this video is helpful. Please like, share, comment please, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and bye from Benny Stitches Fashion Academy. See you some other time.